So Salvage got a huge update coming up in this 4.3.2. I'm super excited to talk about this, guys. Welcome to the channel. If you know my channel, you've been following for a while. I love Salvage. I've been doing Salvage videos and test videos just about every patch since basically Salvage came out, and I guess around the 4.0 and the 4.0 hit, I started slacking off on Salvage. It just wasn't keeping up balance wise with like all the other game loops, and for me, when there's nothing else to do but do AUEC, I don't really participate in a lot of the Wicklow stuff because you lose a lot of items, but that's for a whole other topic. So today, again, super excited to talk about this. We have an update to Salvage. Okay, so let's jump literally straight into this, guys. So this is from the Evocati note, so we don't know if any of this is going to change or what's going to change as the the testing progresses and what they're going to be able to add and what's going to work and stuff. But here we go. So starting out, we got features and gameplay. It says structural salvage overhaul, which is awesome. Looking forward to this. It needed it so bad. Structural salvage has undergone major changes to prep for future systems. This will affect all salvage mechanics for all ships and will increase complexity, adjust salvaging times and materials collected, and adding refining as part of the flow for materials. Really cool there. Ship identity and role definitions. It says each salvage ship now has a distinct identity and specialized role. Reclaimer, quality over quantity. That's pretty much, it's going to be faster, large scale operations type stuff. And then we have the Vulture. The Lone Wolf balanced middle ground ship serves as a reference point for all other ships. Now I'm assuming that kind of like the Misfortune, which is not mentioned here, is going to be kind of like part and probably closer in line with the Vulture. And then we know at some point we're having, hopefully probably at IAE, since all the salvaging stuff is happening, we are going to have the I guess the salvage starter ship, and hopefully maybe they'll sneak in some updates for the Reclaimer, like super big fingers crossed. This whole salvage update was a surprise for me, so maybe they will do some more salvage surprises coming here through the end of the year, right? So let's move on to the next topic. So technical changes. It says field generation system increased range. Fields have been increased by up to 60 meters from where they were before. Now I'm pretty sure that means like when you're going to crack a ship, you can be a lot further away, or maybe you're going to be able to like scrape from further away, but I assume that's probably going to be more for the fracturing stuff. It says ship specific fields. Each ship now generates different sized fields matching their visual design. They kind of already had that already. The Reclaimer is going to be just a lot bigger, and your Vulture is a much slender ship, so it's going to be more for like your kind of like medium to small stuff. Reposition sweet spots. Alignment sweet spots move from dead center to ship appropriate positions. Now with that, I think that's always been in the game, because you move forward and backwards and there's like percentages and stuff, so there's always like this sweet spot for it, but I guess that's just an update, or maybe they're just mentioning that, but that was kind of already in the game. Fracture time rebalancing. 5 times speed differential, massive performance gap between fastest and slowest ships. Now this one's going to be super exciting. This is the new 3-tier material system. Like, this is something I've absolutely been looking forward to, right? Now we have raw material types. Looks like powder, scraps, and chunks. Now from what I'm hearing in some of the testing, now I do not have access to Evocati. Maybe one day, because this is definitely something I would literally test the living crap out of. But hey, wave 1 is like right around the corner, so hopefully I'll have access to that soon. But we have, I think the names are different in the game is what I'm kind of getting at there. So we have the refinery integration. All refinery decks can process these materials. Same end product. All materials refined into construction materials. I absolutely always thought that was going to be the way it was going to go. I always thought we were going to like, the ships were going to be different materials, and that we were going to, in the construction materials, we're going to always end up the final product. Now, let's see, workflow, raw materials, station inventory via freight elevator to the refining process, so kind of the same as like mining. Time design, small ships get quick turnaround, large ships have extended processing but higher profits. I assume that has to do with like the bulk and the amount of time it takes. So moving on to the strategic implications, says operational model. Solo players use small ships for immediate gratification and quick profits. Yeah, we know lots of solo players would like to roll around in the Reclaimers and stuff like that. We just don't have a reason, like, with it splitting the money. was always an issue, so now hopefully that is going to absolutely fix our problems. It says group operations use Reclaimer for high volume operations with delayed but substantial payouts. I really hope that's the case. I hope we get rewarded for all that gameplay. Mixed operations, on-site salvage production will with dedicated transport ships for raw materials. Economic balance, incomplete for this Evo Cuddy build, so hopefully, like I said, by the time it makes it to Wave 1, I hope they're, like, you know, updating all that stuff and getting it in there. We know not everything in the notes can make it in at times, so, but I really hope all this salvage stuff does. Let's see here. We got session-based, first delayed. Small ship profits available immediately. Large ship profits require waiting periods. We know that. Volume versus efficiency. Trade-offs between processing speed and total yield. I think that probably has to do with refining, depending on how you refine it, or speed. I'm hoping we have different choices, like kind of like how we do with the mining. I assume it's going to be close to the same. So last but not least, we have the future integration crafting system. Again, I'm super excited about this. Like, all this salvage stuff just makes me want to like dive back into the game and just play for hours, right? Stepping stone design. Current system is not a placeholder but foundation for post-crafting implementation. That's great. That means they shouldn't have to do a rework or anything. This is just going to lead into what they already have planned for crafting, which I think they already have a good idea of. When crafting arrives, ships will produce the actual material they are built of. Refiner processing times and quality retention mechanics will remain consistent. And then quality system, chunks will retain material quality better than powder, affecting refining times. So that's really cool. So it's going to be one of those things where it's kind of, I just consider it like a loot thing, where you go out and you're just hoping to find a ship that gives you more of the chunks versus you know, like the powder, like it said. And I'm wondering if that's just going to be like how the ship fractures. Is it going to be a luck thing? Is it going to be per ship? These ships fracture better than other ships. That's just something that I don't think we're going to find out till later. And I think that's probably going to be something that's going to be like a never-ending kind of balance issue, right? But yeah, I'm super excited that they're getting it ready for crafting. And the one thing here is that the ships will produce the actual material they are built off of. I think that's going to lead into the crafting, where we have the different tier of ships, where it's kind of like tier 1 leads into tier 2, but the tier 2 has more iron or whatever the case may be, more carbon fiber or whatever to make it more stealthy or anything, something like that. And like salvaging those different tier ships or something in the future will give us like better materials. So it's something, again, something when you're going out to salvage, there's a little more exploration to it and deciding what ship you're going to scrape and which one's going to be better for the materials that you're looking for. Remember, crafting is going to change everything because it's not going to be all AUEC based. Which, again, this is why I really wish they would have changed what they did with Wicklow. I was really hoping Wicklow was going to be like a lead-in to more of the crafting, where some of these materials that aren't worth anything, that we just ignore in the entire game, that we'll be able to pick up and maybe trade in like super big bulk for like things for Wicklow, but it just never happened. But maybe we'll get an iteration of that before crafting makes it in. That would be really cool. I'd love to see a mission where you have to turn in like 2,500 RMC or something like that. Give me a reason to get out there and do RMC besides just, you know, AUEC. That'd be a lot of fun. I know this is a lead into it, but I feel like a little Wicklow mission would like kind of solve that issue now, right? What do you guys actually think about that? So that's going to be like the end of the notes for the salvaging. There is a note down here that says additional gameplay updates, balance update for the tractor beams. I heard the tractor beam is back to the old tractor beam, probably even better, and it's epic. And again, can't wait to get my hands on that. So good thing to look forward to there. Tractor beams felt so sluggish, and it was just sometimes miserable to use. But again, I think that was a nerf due to the sell of the Atlas is probably the reason. I think everybody would probably agree with that. But guys, that is all I wanted to get to. I just wanted to read through the notes, give you just a few opinions about it. Again, I think I've said this like 20 times in this video, like super excited about the salvage stuff. I hope it's as great and as big as I want it to be, just like a lot of hopium, a lot of copium, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, what do you guys think about these notes? I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts in the comment. You know, I've literally been doing some videos lately about the Reclaimer rework and what would make that better. And I was literally getting ready to make another video kind of on salvaging, on where we were at, which is was going to be kind of boring because it's really hadn't changed. But now there's absolutely something to look forward to. So guys, I know I don't normally do these kind of update videos, but since I do so much salvage on this channel, I wanted to get these notes out there to you if you haven't already seen them already. So please leave comments. Let me know your thoughts. What are you looking forward to? How could they make this better? What would you rather see changed versus this? And as always, guys, thanks for the support, and I'll catch you on the next video.